All right. Let's start addressing the questions that you have about the project. If you have any questions, you can either raise your hand or send a message, and I'll respond to them. I will just go to Slack and get questions from there. Otherwise, um, the project that you are given are just test projects because I've gotten a couple of questions around who owns this project, if I finish building it, blah blah, all of those kind of things. We just came up with a fake human being. There's nobody that gave us that project. It doesn't belong to anybody. Whatever you work on belongs to you. If you do decide to convert it to an actual thing for yourself, that's absolutely fine. We are not, honestly, we're not really interested in the project itself. We are more interested in how you do it and applying the things you've learned in the past couple of months. And I also think from some of the messages I've gotten, a few people feel like it's a disadvantage that the project is coming almost, quite late compared to when you completed the classes. While I totally understand that, I also think it's a bit of an advantage because now you are more settled, relaxed, you are more comfortable, and hopefully you've been learning, improving on yourself all this time. And if you have not been doing that, this would be a way to remind yourself of the things you've learned and apply them. The delay was not intentional, to be fair. It wasn't intentional. The first delay was that we wanted to finish grading all pending assignments. And the second delay was something internal that we had to deal with. But all of that is gone now, so we can get back on track and get things moving. All right. So more questions. Let's see. Can we get a sample? Somebody is asking if you can get example project documentation. I think we should have one that we used a couple of years ago. I'm going to be sincere with you. There is no one way to write your project documentation because you are not a project manager. A project manager will be required to write it in a specific way. But for you, the point is we want you to understand the project. We want you to be able to explain your understanding of the project. And then we want you to be able to tell us your plan because it's important to be able to give yourself a timeline, tell us your plan, and share that plan with us. If you're working in the company, like many people that are probably in this course have done before, usually you're expected to be able to explain yourself, your understanding of the project, explain your thought process, explain how you intend to achieve things, and so on. So that's the point of the whole thing. It's not like a standard documentation or whatever. We just needed to write it in such a way that if I pick it up as someone that doesn't know anything about your project, if I read your document, I should understand your project. I should understand what you plan on achieving. I should understand the problem you're trying to solve. I should also understand how you intend to solve it and when you want to solve it. So if you can find a way to answer all those questions that I just mentioned, you'll be absolutely fine. You don't have to write a standard project management document. It's just for you to make sure you understand the project and be able to explain it in that document in such a way that anybody that picks it up will also understand it. And it's also a good practice because sometimes when you meet with clients, they really don't know what they want. They just tell you everything they want to tell you, how they want it to be done, but they don't understand what it will take. So you have to be the one to explain to them what it will take and whatever they want to achieve, how long it will take and how you will be able to achieve it. So for example, if a client should say, I want my customers should be able to buy product from my website, somewhere in their mind, they might be thinking, they will transfer money to my account and I will send the product to them. They are not thinking of the in between when the customer transfer money to them and when the delivery is on. They're not thinking of tracking the delivery. They're not thinking of inventory. They're not thinking of, making sure the customer gets their order. They're not thinking of how do I match the person that pays the money with the order that I'm supposed to send and make sure there are no mistakes. They're not thinking of logistics of delivery and all of that. So you, as possibly a product designer, a front-end or a back-end developer, would be able to say, look, I understand what you want to achieve, but to achieve the process of receiving payment from the customer up to sending the product to the customer. These are all the things that are in between that I need to do to make sure that the process is flawless. And then that would also increase, what you can charge, because you can then present to them those two options and say, if you want to go with this option where I walk through all these things individually, I will charge you this amount. And if you want me to just do the specific thing required from me, this is the amount, which is, possibly going to be cheaper. So regarding the documentation, just go straight to the point, make it simple, explain all the things you understand about the project, explain what you are trying to solve, explain what you will be doing, how you'll be doing it, and possibly when you'll be doing it. Okay, if you can answer all those questions, it doesn't matter the format, the top subtitle or whatever, just make it clear. All right. Okay. Okay, I've answered that one. Next question here. Next question here says, how many projects are there for those who are doing multiple courses? Right. So honestly, I'm not sure how we are going to do this for you, because you are supposed to do the project for the courses you're doing. So if you're taking two courses, you're supposed to do two projects. I think the only issue will be the timeline, because you get the same timeline regardless of how many courses you're doing. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can do anything about that, because that would require me to now sit back down, extend timeline for some people and not extend for some people. So we cannot do that. You just have to find a way to squeeze everything in. You can also make sure you define your scope in such a way that it doesn't become too cumbersome for you, or you can just do it together, right? That's it. That might be a good point. So you can, if you're doing, for example, product design and front end, you could just design the thing and that will be your design, and then develop the thing, that will be your front end thing. So, you can just do it together. I don't know. We can't really change the timeline for you specifically, but if you're having trouble finding, like this person is saying, if you're having trouble finding the project, I left a thread on Slack. Just put your information there and it will be sorted out. Okay. But for you, if you're in, see, it's not individual, it's an individual project, but it's not unique to you. So everybody in front end get the same project, everybody in back end get the same project, everybody in design gets the same project. So if you don't see the project in your account up to now, just ask in your own channel and say, hey, anyone that has a copy of the project, please send to me. It's fine to share with people, okay? Just share with them so that they can have access to it and they don't have to wait until they see it before they can, until they see it on their LMS before they can start working on it. So if you are here, you have access to the project already, you have the document, just share with them and they can start having a look at it and trying to start working on it. All right. Next question from Ken. My question is, Ken, I don't know if Ken is here or if you are watching the recording later, but so on the LMS, you're going to be getting 4 submissions from, four assignments, yes, 4 assignments signifying 4 milestones. I'm trying to explain the project structure now. So each milestone will define your progress in the project. The first milestone is to understand the project and write it down the way you understand it. That's the first milestone, which is the one you probably see on your LMS now. The second milestone is where you start doing some sketches, like mock-up, wireframes, diagram sketch, database sketches, and so on and so forth. That'll be your second milestone, which you will be required to also submit. The third milestone is going to be the lo-fi or the initial, coding or initial interface or whatever you're working on, depending on your track. That'll be the third milestone. And the fourth milestone will be your completed project. So we do the milestone thing so that it's easy for you. You don't have to wait until the end before you get some sort of feedback from whoever is going to be grading you. It's important that you don't just finish the entire project and then get one single feedback at the end. And in the project phase also, in this period, we're going to be checking how you implement things, if you're implementing it properly, if you're writing your code cleanly, if your design is properly labeled, if you're arranging things properly, if you have prototype, if you don't have prototype, if you have wireframe, low-fi, high-fi, all of those things, so that we can, at least help you to put a reasonable project together, so that if you get a job outside, you can also do the same there. So that's what the project is going to be like. There's going to be 4 milestones, and each of the milestones is going to help you move to progress in the project that you're working on. So hopefully Ken is going to be watching this later, but that's the answer to your question. On the LMS, you get the milestones as assignment, but your project has been sent by email in a document. If you did not get the email, nothing to worry about. Like I mentioned, it's not individual. It's an individual project, but it's not unique to you. You can get the document from others. I didn't want to post it in the workspace in Slack because there are so many people doing different courses in Slack, and I didn't want to confuse people by posting things that does not really relate to them, which is why we have started communicating purely by email mostly now, especially things that has to do with, classes or documents specifically for you. We would be sending them by email. So, so if you're sharing it on Slack, make sure you clarify that it's specifically project for those who started their program in March. I think that we call you March cohort also. All right, so that's the answer for Ken. Let me see. But what exactly is the project? Yeah, I've answered all of that. All right, cool. Okay, any more questions from anybody? Let me see if I have more questions in Slack. Yeah, for everyone that has not gotten the project or the assignment that's supposed to be a project on the LMS, just don't worry. I cannot explain why it's happening, but I will definitely have a look at it. Also, when you put your details there, don't just say I didn't see it or I didn't find it. Just put your student ID. That's so much easier for me to look to use for finding you on the LMS on the admin side. Not your email, just your student ID should be fine. For whoever has put something on the thread about not finding the project on the LMS, just go back to the thread, edit your post, and change it to add your student ID. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. If we signed up if you have a question, please put it here. I am just here to answer questions about your project. If you've not seen the project at all, I recommend you ask somebody to share with you, so that you can have a look now and ask me the questions now, because I think the next time I'll be doing this will be like in 2 weeks' time. So you need to ask me as many questions as possible now. Okay. If we signed up for 2 tracks, should we currently see two? Actually, that's a good question. Yes, you should definitely see 2 milestone 1. That's a good question. So if you're doing 2 tracks, you should see 2 milestone 1 assignments on your dashboard. Okay. So if you don't see that, also please go to that thread and let me know. So let me know if you can, if you can't find it, just put it there and I would sort that out for you. Okay. Wisdom said earlier you mentioned the project is optional. Is it still? Yeah, it's still optional. See, you can decide not to do it, in which case you will just have your certificate of participation. Okay, it's absolutely optional. Must we pass it to get a certificate? Yes. You don't have to pass the project, but altogether, your project and your courses, you must get at least 68%. But if you don't have your project at all, you will not, even if you have 70%, you will not be considered to have completed the course. Hopefully that makes sense. So there are two things to consider now. Number one, you must complete all the courses and your assignment, even if you don't submit everything, you understand? As long as you get 68%, that's fine. But the project must be one of the things you do. Okay, even if you don't pass the project, as long as the total score you get is more than 68%, then you are fine to get your certificate of completion. But if you don't have project at all as part of your courses, or if you don't submit it at all, then you will be considered a participant, not somebody that completed it. All right. Ramat said, I get the project task, but we can we understand better what we are working on exactly? Is it not stated? Yeah, please check your email. If you've not found it in your email, whatever track you're in, just ask people in that same track to share with you. But we sent it by email already. Just check your email, search for Zuri final project or something like that. Okay, iPhone, you keep talking about giving ourselves a timeline, but realistically, doesn't each milestone have a timeline of 12 days? So we can technically say, so we can't no, we give you a final date of submission. You can set your timeline for each of those milestones. You can say, okay, for milestone 1, I want to use 2 days. For milestone 2, I want to use 3 days. You understand? That's what I mean by setting your own timeline. But realistically, a project owner or anyone that gives you a contract will tell you, I want this thing to be done so time, and then you decide how you want to break things down. Unfortunately, unlike real life scenarios, you cannot negotiate the time with us because it's limited, So just work with what we're giving you. We are not also expecting an absolutely perfect implementation of whatever you've been asked to do. We need a really short timeline to do a full project. But just do your best, okay? The grading will be mainly done like the document, or hopefully the document mentioned it, that we are only going to be considering what you said you're going to be doing as your own project. So if you said all I'm going to be doing is to create a single form for people to submit the form, we are going to be grading you based on that. But keep in mind, the client sent you a list of things they want to be achieved. So if whatever you decide to do is not going to meet the need of the fake client, then you might be shortchanging yourself or shortcharging yourself, and sort of reducing your own mark yourself. So just set your own timeline when you want to finish milestone 1, when you want to finish milestone 2, and so on and so forth. Wait, can anyone still hear me? Somebody is saying they can't hear me. Job, can you hear me now? Can you guys still hear me, or have I been speaking to myself since? Okay, good.
You're audible still, so.
All right, good. Thanks. Okay, one more question from Ukaibe. Sorry if I didn't call your name right. Yeah, that's what it means. So she's asking, does it mean all backend projects are the same? Yes, absolutely. All your projects are the same, but you have to interpret it in your own way. You have to meet the need of your client in your own way. You cannot interpret the project exactly the way the other person will interpret it. It's a very, very open project. It's just telling you what the client wants to achieve. So you are going to be the professional to interpret it and achieve it for the client. Let me give you one very simple example. The client didn't even say anything about, oh, I want to be able to sign in, I want to be able to sign out, I want to be able to reset my password, I want to be able to forget my password, all of those things. But as a developer, those are things, or as a designer, those are things that needs to be in an application, even though the client didn't say, I want to see them there. So your interpretation has to be your own. Don't cheat yourself. Try to just look at it yourself and do it by yourself and try and interpret it yourself. You can work with somebody and discuss with them, but your interpretation still needs to be your own, and your implementation needs to be your own also. Okay. Please, I want to confirm the project isn't displaying on my LMS. Yeah, that's fine. So what you should see on your LMS is an assignment. For now, you should see at least one assignment, milestone 1 assignment. Possibly tomorrow, you'll be getting 3 more assignments for each of the milestones. So that's what you should see on your LMS. If you don't see that on your LMS, that's when you should go to Slack on the C1 channel and put your student ID in the comment on the thread I posted there. Daniel, do you have a question? Your hand is up.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, I do have a couple of questions. According to the document that was sent, right at the top of it, it's indicated the front-end project. So I was wondering if it was the same for backend, or there is one for backend that I didn't receive.
Yeah, there is one for backend you should receive. If you did not get, if you didn't get that, that must be a mistake from my side. So anyone that has the backend project, please send to Daniel Johnson. There is one for backend. There's one for, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send all the projects to everybody in the court. All this I didn't get. I'm just going to send to everybody, possibly tonight. So you see all the projects and you can pick the one that applies to you. I think
Thank you
that,
very much.
yeah, no worries. I think there must be a
That
program.
that's one. And
Okay.
secondly, for the front end part, are we supposed to work with some design? I don't know if maybe from product designer or something, or just specifically what the fictional client wants implemented.
Yes. So the client doesn't
Uh,
really care. Can you still
I
hear
was
me?
thinking maybe it's a full-blown website, and but then I wasn't quite sure.
So yeah, I mean, it really depends on you how you want to, solve the client's problem. But you need to ask yourself, what does this client want? Does this client want me to make a full website, or do they want me to just make this system that meets their need? Will they be in will whatever I build be a part of a larger system? I think this question has been answered in the document, but I'm not going to give you a straight answer, to be fair.
That's all right. That's
Yeah,
all
the
right.
question you should be
I
asking is,
just I
yeah,
just wanted to I just wanted to make sure if basically we're just working on with what we have on the document itself.
yeah,
But that's
exactly what you have in the
fine.
document. But okay.
Okay. All right, that's clear enough. And last question is about the CDT. So I was wondering if it was going to go ahead because I have been anticipating it.
Yes, certainly we are doing it. I think we are going to also be including the mobile track. But yeah, that will likely be open. I think like 3 or 4 people already paid. So we have no choice than to do it. That will likely be open, I think, end of next month. Because this current cohort will almost be done by then, and they would also be interested in joining. So we'll likely be opening it by the middle or the end of next month.
All
But I'll
right.
keep you guys posted. Even before we open it, I just might absorb some people, um, depending on how things go with our new plans that we are trying to implement, depending on how things go.
All right. Okay, I am looking forward to it. Thank you very
Yeah,
much,
me
sir.
too. Thank you. All right. Let me see if there are more questions in the comments or on Slack. Any more questions from anybody? Otherwise, I
Oh, I
could.
have a question.
Okay, please go on, Juliet.
Good evening.
Hi, evening.
Sorry, I still don't understand. I was just reading the question, the milestone. What is the project title? I don't know, maybe the document I have is different, but I really don't understand what to do.
Right.
What project are we working on?
Okay.
What are we supposed to work on? Because it says document plan and project understanding. So what project are we understanding? So I really don't understand that statement.
Right. Did you receive an email from us?
I received the email, but it was when I went to my LMS, it was blank. I had to go back. It opened, but it's not reflecting on my assignment. I can't see it on assignment. It's
No,
not there. But
yeah, I
I
get
was
you.
able to when I opened it, when I went back to my email and I clicked on it, it just opened. I could see it on my Zuri board. But when I went through for my assignment to check, I didn't see it. So but I was able to see a glance of what the assignment is all about. So I don't know whether I have the complete assignment or I don't know. So I'm kind of not sure of what I've seen because it just says documentation plan, project understanding, front end, then project 100A. So I'm like, what project understanding? Or is it just, I'm throwing back the question to you. I don't understand. So.
Yes, I understand you. Let me just try and explain again. So
Okay.
apart from getting the email, that is the notification that comes from Zuri board talking to
Yes.
telling you that you have an assignment.
Yes.
Did you receive another email from us about final project being available?
No. I
Yeah.
didn't.
You know what you do for me? Let me check the specific title of that email. Just 1 minute. Okay. Search your email. Just search your email now. I'm posting it on Zoom chat. Search your email for this title that I just posted. Final project details and Q&A session. So search your email. If you don't find it, then
Okay, yes, I've seen it. Final project details and Q&A session.
yeah, that's your
Is that
project. Yes. So just
so?
go
What
ahead. Go on.
Okay, it says, hi everyone. I'm excited to announce that your final project details are now available. You can find the following documents below. Project milestone explanation. This document outlines the key stages of your final project. Then your project details. This document provides specific information about your project requirements. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
just open those documents then. Open them and
Okay.
look at the details.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So it's taking me to my Google Drive.
there are 2 documents there that gives you information about your project.
Okay, so the first one I opened is giving me information about your final project. Milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, and milestone 4.
Yeah.
I've
Go on.
just seen this.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Okay.
okay. So just
Okay.
open the second document.
Okay, let me go back.
I'm going to just open the second document that
Okay, I'm opening this. Yes, I'm opening it now.
I'm going to call
Oh,
somebody else so
okay.
we don't. Do you have any more question? I think I've answered your own
Okay. Okay, so I've opened it. Okay, I have another question. So I didn't register for, I only registered for the compulsory courses. I didn't register for the ones that were optional. So I want to, because I've asked you this question before, so I want to be sure. You said there was no need if I cannot do it, and it's because I couldn't do it, so I just decided to register for the core courses. So I just want to find out if it will affect my, what they call it, my certificate or anything.
No, if as long as you get the required score, you should be fine. Okay, and
Okay.
as long as you get the required score,
Okay, because my score, sir? Because it's over what my own is showing now. Sorry for taking your time, sir.
no,
What
no.
this now is over 43. So and I have like 38. So I just wanted to clarify I'm on the right track.
Okay, so as long as you have done all the required courses,
Okay,
including
sir.
projects, and
Okay.
you get at least 68% total score, you'll be fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, so one question from the chat says, sorry, I'm just joining. My question is, how do we get the design we'll be working with? I'm guessing you are a front-end developer. You don't just, read the project again. As a developer, I'm just going to say this now. As a developer, you have to just be able to sit down and read the project and understand what the client wants. Forget about what you believe a front-end developer should do. Normally people feel like a front-end developer should get a design, a front-end developer should implement design. You are going to be forgetting about all of that and just look at what the client wants and try to solve the client's problem. If the client says, look, I don't need a website, I just want you to build this app for me as a front-end developer, you would not be looking for a designer to help you design. You have to just solve the client's problem in the best way you can solve it, which is what this project is about. We've given you a couple of projects that have tested how you can implement front-end, pages. So we don't really want you to do exactly the same thing as a final project. We need you to be a developer, not just a front-end person. You have to be able to look at the assignment, look at the client's requirement, understand what the client wants, and solve their problem. If you feel like, oh, then I need to, implement a front end, I am giving you the what is the word now? I'm giving you I'm allowing you, so to say, to get a random design anywhere you like and implement that design if you feel like that would be the solution to the client's problem. Okay, that's in response to the question in the chat. The next question in the chat from Tina is, the project just about designing a website, or are we supposed to make it responsive? I mean, I don't know if I want to answer that question, because responsiveness should just be normal. Okay. And I know we didn't get to this part and I know I didn't get to this part for PHP developers. I was going to, but I couldn't get to that part. Responsiveness should be normal to you. It's not like, oh, let me just do website and that is it. No, doing the website includes making it responsive. It's not an additional thing that you can decide to do or not to do. It is just part of it. The second thing I'll probably say is for the backend developers. While it is not required here, writing unit or feature test should be it's just normal for you when you're writing code as a backend developer. So it's not something you do if there is space, there is time. It's just part of what you're supposed to be doing. The same thing for designers. Prototyping is just part of what you're supposed to be doing as a designer. The only time I feel like you don't need to prototype is when you are just practicing the project. But if you are working on a project that you believe will be implemented by somebody, especially if the person is not available when you're designing, you're just designing it and handing it over to the product owner, you have to do a prototype so that whoever is going to be implementing it, and even the product owner, will understand what your thought process was. Okay, so hopefully you get that. Hopefully I answered that question. I didn't get the mail for the final project, just the documentation, milestone 1. I think it's the same email, Ola Lekon. It's the same email that gives you those 2 documents. So if you have the document that explains milestone, then you definitely have the other document that explains the project. So I would say just look at the email very well and carefully read it. I didn't receive the final project details and Q&A section. That would be very odd. But in any case, please just ask people in your track. It's the same project, just that it's it's individual submissions, but it's exactly the same project for everybody. We just expect you as a person to interpret the project and solve it in your own way. Okay, so ask somebody to share with you. And I also promised earlier that I'm going to be sending all the projects to everybody. So you can see, for design, for front end and for back end, and then you can pick the one that applies to you. Or, you can just also practice with the rest. That's absolutely fine. All right, please don't forget to resend the project again. Like, yeah, I will do that. All right, yeah, no problem. I'll do that. I'm in the design track for the recent assignment given milestone, which involves document and planning. I really don't, I've already explained this, guys. I'm not going to be going back to that. I've explained it like 4 times. So just watch the recording. This call is being recorded. Yeah, it's being recorded. I would post that on YouTube. All right. Sasu, hopefully I called it right. For the front-end project, how functional should the inventory system be? Good question. I probably need to read this more, but this is looking like it requires a database and back-end stuff. Please, could you clarify? You don't look, you're a front-end developer. You don't need to write back-end code, but you will likely need something that would act like a database. So you could use like a file. You could save things inside a file. You could save things in local storage. You could save things anywhere. Do you understand? We just really want you to understand the power that you have as a front-end developer. You don't always need to have a back-end person available to get things fully functioning. And this is important because some of the complaints that we've gotten in the past from front-end developer is, it's very difficult to show people my skills in JavaScript because I need a back-end person to really complete me. But it's not always the case. You don't really need a back-end person to complete you. You can like I've done some projects that just uses local storage. You could also look up some other alternative storage systems that are not necessarily going to require you to write any backend code. It's going to just be you writing JavaScript and saving it in some, I don't want to give too much details, but I'm assuring you, you can solve that problem without going to a backend person for help, okay? And the concept of database is not a backend concept alone. Do you understand? A front-end system could also use database without requiring backend code at all. All right, so just do a little bit of research, and hopefully you can able to find the solution. But you know, the fastest and the easiest thing you can do is to use local storage for your project. All right. iPhone is saying, is it solely written documentation for Master One? Are we adding sketches? That like I've also explained this, but the thing about the Milestone One is we just want you to show us that you understand the project. Okay? If your own way of showing me that you understand the project is by adding sketches or anything else, that's fine. Okay? Just show us that you really understand the project, you understand the problem that needs to be solved, you have a plan for the solution, you have a timeline for the solution. That's all we want to see in the document. I would also advise you watch the recording. So there are a couple of things I've already explained earlier. All right. Some hands are up. Esther, please go on.
Okay, sir. Good evening.
Evening.
I saw an assignment on Zuri platform, the dashboard. I saw an assignment with 1 week duration, and I also received the final project. Are we expected to submit that assignment within a week, or is it part of the project sent to us?
Is it a milestone assignment?
Yes, there's one having that's on the Zuri platform, the dashboard.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You say the project that you received, did you, there are 2 documents in that email that tells you about
Yes,
your project.
yes, I received that on my email, but this one I'm talking about is on the Zuri dashboard.
Yes. So they are tied together. The email that you got, the first document explains what each milestone is. You are supposed to submit those milestones on Zuri board,
Yeah.
which will be like an assignment. So just read those documents, read the email, and try and understand what the document is saying.
Sorry,
Then,
okay. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, no, that's it. Just try and understand what the document is saying. And
Okay,
it might
my concern is on the time duration. This one on the Zuri dashboard is saying 1 week, while the project is saying we have 5 weeks, but rather 4 weeks. Are we
yeah,
to
milestone 1 is just one milestone out
okay?
of 4.
Okay, sir.
Right. So, if I mean, I actually thought you had 2 weeks for milestone 1. I wonder why it's saying 1 week for you. But I would check it. I think it should be 2 weeks for everything.
Okay, sir.
Um,
Okay,
yeah, I'll
thank
check.
you.
But yeah, there are 4 milestones. So don't wait before you start working on those milestones.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Wait, did you say 4 weeks for the project? Is that what is in the document? 4 weeks?
The document wrote 5 weeks, but at the 5th week, we are to start our reviews.
Why
But
did
we are
they give you 4 weeks? 4
that
weeks?
yes, it actually wrote 5 weeks, but it's advisable for us to submit at the 4th week. But on the 5th week, we're expected to be, reviewing the project and all that.
Oh my God, it's supposed to be 2 weeks. Why is it 4 weeks? Why did they give you 4 weeks? What is
Actually, I don't know whether it's this. It's actually, but
that's
that was what is written there.
that's too much time. That's way too much time. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Esther. Okay. Osarugwe, do you have a question? Your hand is up. I don't know if you have a question or is that what you've asked in the chat?
What I asked in the chat, right? I didn't see any document. There is no dashboard on that. There's nothing that links to any document. I'll leave this instruction about documentation, but I can't see the documents to work with. So I don't know the actual assignment, but it's like these things are describing an assignment that I should look at so that I can do it. But I can't see what I'm creating now.
All right. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Hopefully I've answered that question already, but let me go over that again. So I'm going to be sending the project again tonight to everybody. There are 4 milestones, and I cannot believe you have 4 weeks to work on just this small project. But anyway, just in your mind, just put each milestone per week so that you can really keep. I would really recommend that the first milestone will be less than a week. So yeah. So I will send the project again. This call is recorded, so you can watch it again. I know I'm speaking fast because I was thinking there'll be a lot of questions to cover, but apparently not too many questions. Okay. What else? Just to be sure, the first email we got was talking about documentation of project. Is that an assignment on its own, or are we? I feel like you guys need to just take a little time and read the email, read the documents attached, and read the project details. And the milestone thing itself, just go back and read it. But it's also possible that some of you did not get that email. So maybe that's why I'm getting these questions over and over again. So I will I will resend the email. Hopefully everybody gets it this time. Okay. Yeah, Daniel said you haven't gotten the email. That's fine. I will resend the email. All right. Any more questions from anybody? Let's see what is on Slack. Juliet, if you are still here, please put it in the thread. Oh,
So I sent it already. The
yeah,
C1, was it C1?
yes, you posted it in the channel. It should be under a thread above. Just scroll up a little bit. You will see there's a thread where I say you should put it there. Okay. All right. No problem. I think, a couple more question. Ogundara said, I need clarifications. The client has a website already. Is it mandatory? Is it the inventory? Sorry, I think, is the inventory not going to be a website too? Since the customer will be able to access it. Look, you have to just solve the customer's problem one way or the other. Okay, that's up to you. If you feel like you are building a website, that's fine. Just make sure you solve the client's problem. On the client side, there will be admin and user access. What are the privileges? That's absolutely up to you. You can advise your client on the required privileges. He has already told you, or she, I don't know, has already told you the 2 things they want to see. There's an admin and a customer side. So you can then, I don't know what you want to do with that information, So that's absolutely up to you also. All right. Okay, you can use framework, you can use libraries, you can use, templates, whatever it is you want to use. Clients don't usually care what you use as long as it works well. Said is saying, I hope it's not compatible with. No, you should you should definitely not use PHP Sandbox for your final project. You certainly don't want to use PHP Sandbox for your final project. Imagine, you are trying to solve a client's problem. You cannot do that on PHP Sandbox and now send PHP Sandbox to your client. That's not going to work. All right. Any more questions from anybody? Let me see what's on Slack. All right. I don't see any more questions on Slack, which is very good because I was thinking I would spend so much time responding to so many questions. That's very good. All right, but what I would like to hear from you, for those who have seen the project, what do you think about the project? Do you believe It will help you to test your ability to satisfy or to solve problems. Because we didn't want to just give you, this is our first time trying this kind of project, to be fair. Normally, we just ask people to develop whatever we're giving them. But do you believe this might help you to really be able to put into perspective how clients think, and then you would be able to sit down to try and solve the client's problem? If you have a comment about the actual project itself, I'll be happy to hear. Just let me know. Question, Ogundara, is how do we get the project submitted if not on PHP Sandbox? My bladder. Ogundara, that's actually a good question. So, I mean, it's a good question, but I don't think I need to answer it, but I'll just answer it. I think you just imagine you're doing a project for a client and you want to show them what you've done so far. How would you do it? Okay, so you can either find a free hosting platform. I mean, I guess it depends on your track. Or, so there's something we call, I was not going to share this, but there's something called Ngrok that allows you to host your local thing, your local whatever it is you've built, and share with somebody that is outside of your local system. Hopefully that makes some sense to some backend developers. Because, okay, so front-end people and design people have no problem with hosting. I think this might be back-end issue, really, because front-end has so many hosting platforms you can use to just, you can even use that. I think GitHub Pages might be able to host JavaScript also, I'm not sure. But I think oh, sorry, I sent to one person, not to everybody. Let me post it again. So I think this question will be more like a back-end question. But you can either use a platform like Ngrok. Ngrok is, let me see if I get the spelling properly. Basically allows you to share something you've developed locally with somebody else, so they can now access it. But if you don't want to use, you can try other forms of hosting platforms. Either they are free, or you can pay like 1,000 naira or something. I think Google Host charges like 400 naira per month or so. Let me see. Let me check for you guys. Google Hosts. So you can also try using that. Let me see how much is Google Hosts. Whoa, sorry, the price has gone up. Oh, inflation. This thing used to be. Wait, is that per month? Jesus. It's 2,000 per month now. It used to be like 400 though. There is actually another hosting platform. Uh-oh. I just saw that our website is down. I guess Damnova is working on it. Sorry guys, let me just ask my guy why our website is down. I was going to show you, there's an hosting platform that we link from our website. I was going to show you. Website. All right, cool. But I don't know what it is. I think it's Lighthost. Yeah, I'm correct. It's Lighthost. So you can also try using Lighthost. I think Lighthost gives you 30 days access for free. Yeah, yes, that's true. 30 days for free. So you can register on Lighthost and use that also for your projects. Okay. So, just I'm solving the problem for you already, but I think you should just find a way to solve the problem. All right, let me see. Please, can I be doing one project considering the time frame? No, sorry, you have to do both. If you don't do both, how do we even solve this problem for you? Look, it's 4 weeks, guys. It's 4 weeks. I think you should be able to do both in 4 weeks. I thought it was 2 weeks. That's what I was saying, all the things I was saying earlier. But it's 4 weeks, so I think you should do both. Again, don't forget you are the one defining the scope of your project yourself. So define the scope so that it solves the client's problem without adding any extras. Okay, if you know you don't have enough time, just define your scope in such a way that it solves the client's problem without adding any extra. But yeah, you have to do both. Okay, this is a realistic project. As a project designer, we should be able to solve problems in our own. Yeah, thanks. That's what we are hoping to achieve. Yeah, that's where. Yeah, you guys can set up a meeting yourself and gather together. If you want, I could create a meeting link for you so you can use Zoom, because that then you can record your screen and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think you guys can also gather together. If you want a meeting, I would just one of our program coordinator is called Chikire. She's on Slack. So if you want us to set up a meeting for you, just send her a message and she would set up a meeting for you on Zoom so you can have your meetings, maybe weekly meetings to check up on each other, or you can use WhatsApp or anything else you want. Okay? Sorry. Okay, so he's working on the website. All right, next question says, please, I know you said we should read the document to understand what we need to pass from the developer. I've been reading since afternoon. I can't still understand. If we are not able to get a design and work on it, how then do we come up with a different section of the inventory? Yeah, that's the limit we want you to break. We want you to break out of that mindset of, oh, front-end developers are just supposed to get design from designers and implement the design. You are also supposed to be solving problems. Okay, that's the mindset we want you to break out of. You will not be given a new design. You have to read the document properly. You know what you can do? Just make a bullet point for yourself and ask questions like, what does the client want? Point number one, the client wants an inventory system. That's point number one. Point number two, the client has given me some way he wants the inventory system to look. Point number three, the client wants the customer to be able to do this and do that. Point number four, just make a point like that. And then go to any of the points and try and explain to yourself, maybe in one sentence, how you will solve it. So for example, if the first one, sorry, let me clear my throat. So the first one that I mentioned, point number one being the client wants an inventory system. Under it, what is an inventory system? That's the question that you need to answer. What specifics does the client want this inventory system to have? What is the client selling? And what can I do to help the customers that visit this page have a better experience than they currently have? So that's all we wanted. We wanted to sit down, look at the questions that the thing that the client has proposed to you, and think of how to solve that problem. List everything out and try and write it out yourself. And this is why the project documentation was required. Because we know if you don't understand the project, you are just going to be doing anything you like. Also, if after reading the document, you concluded that the best way to solve the problem is to get a design and implement the design, that's absolutely fine. I've mentioned that you can just get any random design online or use an AI to generate a design and implement that design. That will be fine with me, as long as you believe that's the best way to solve the problem. But keep in mind, I will be grading you as the client. And if you don't solve my problem, I would not be able to grade it properly. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah, any more questions, guys? I think Damilola needs my attention to solve this website that is down problem. Any more questions, guys, before we close the meeting? Hopefully I've answered all your questions. But we just really want you to get in the mindset of solving problems. Oh, it's back up. That was quick. That's why I like the people that I work with. Okay, that one is gone. All right, any more questions, guys? Any more questions about the project that you've gotten? All right, so thank you all for attending. We have a couple of new people in the workspace, I think about 250 of them, learning exactly what you have done. You know, so if they ask questions, you know, be willing to help them. If they have trouble registering for their courses, just try and help them out as much as you can. Yeah, I guess yeah, you still get a discount for CDT. The discount is for sure for you if you pass. Please, I sent a message to you on Slack. Oh my God. You have to, I haven't checked my direct messages in a while because I was worried I would not let me just show you my page. I was worried I would not be able to resolve the issues. Let me just show you why did these people change? So can you see my DM? So the problem is once I open the message and I don't solve the problem at that point, I just forget about it, which is why sometimes I decide not to read them at all until I really can settle down to read and solve the problem immediately. Okay, so sorry about that. I would recommend just saying it in the channel and either I can solve it or somebody else can solve it. Okay, so if it's a private thing, maybe you can still call my attention to it in the channel. Okay, because it's really difficult going through all those direct messages. There are maybe like 50 something of them, and I really can't promise to get the time to do that right now. And Destiny, I joined a bit late. Please, would you be sending? Yes, I will be sending the recording. It will be on YouTube as usual. I might just announce it in the channel once I upload it. But yeah, I'll certainly be sending it. All right, guys. Thank you all for attending, and hopefully you find the project helpful in helping you to further your studies. Yeah, finally, there is a makeup task that is supposed to go out to everybody. Let me tell you what the issue with that has been. So we need to make some changes to how points are awarded on the LMS. Because if I give you the makeup task now and you do it and you don't get a full mark, it's going to be a disadvantage to you. That's why I've not given the task yet, because it's a makeup task, but it also adds to your cumulative score. Okay, so if the task is over 5, it adds to everything. And if you don't get the exact 5, it becomes a disadvantage because then your percentage might go down, which is why I've not given the makeup task yet. There are a couple of very small changes we need to do on how the LMS collates our score. Otherwise we might just really just dash people mark, maybe like give you 2 points extra just for missing some assignment, or just give everybody 2 points in any case. But I'll keep you guys posted. We are still together for at least 4 weeks, your duration of your project. All right. Thank you all for attending. The video will be available. The recording will be available much later today. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you so